Ron Paul is still in the race, his third run for president spanning 15 years. But a Fox Chicago News poll shows Congressman Paul running a very distant last place in today's Illinois primary. Speculation is rampant about his plans to perhaps back Mitt Romney and thus lead his considerable army of enthusiastic supporters to Romney. Congressman Tim Johnson is a Republican from Illinois who supports Ron Paul for president, and he joins us now. Good afternoon, sir.
Nice to talk to you, Martin.
Now, I understand you are supporting the candidacy of Ron Paul. The latest polling has Mr. Paul bottom of the pile with 8%, as against Mitt Romney, who's in the lead with 36% or 37% there. And, of course, Mr. Paul hasn't won a single primary or caucus. So why are you not supporting Mitt Romney?
Well, I don't make my determination, Martin, based on who wins or loses. I base my endorsements or otherwise on who I think is best for America. And I believe Ron Paul is a bastion of integrity and commitment to liberty in the midst of what, unfortunately, in many cases, is politics as usual. So I'm very proud to support Ron Paul.
Congressman Paul released a statement today that is highly critical of the new GOP budget unveiled by Congressman Paul Ryan. If it's safe to assume that you like Ron Paul because of his anti-government, anti-interventionist stance, do you like Paul Ryan's budget plan?
Well, I haven't seen it as fully as perhaps Congressman Paul has. I would want to maintain a little guarded indecision until I've looked at it. I support Ron Paul in large part because he believes in liberty. He believes that we ought not to be fighting wars we can't win, that we shouldn't be spending money that we don't have, that we shouldn't be intervening in people's lives where government's not meant to intervene. And I think that's a message that ultimately is going to resound to either the benefit or the detriment of America, according to how they vote.
Indeed. What is it that you love so much about oil companies that will allow Republicans to keep the oil companies to keep $40 billion in subsidies over the next 10 years, but Republicans would prefer to fundamentally change Medicare?
Well, you're speaking for Republicans. You're not speaking for Tim Johnson. And there's a variety of issues on which I differ from my party. I've maintained, again, a position of look and see in terms of some of those issues. So I'm not lockstep on those or any other issues.
That's interesting, sir. So would you like there to be a closing of some of these subsidies and loopholes? Would you like there, for example, to be a small tax increase on the wealthiest Americans?
Well, I think the loopholes, at least some number of the loopholes, need to be carefully examined. I think the whole tax structure needs to be reexamined. I guess I would want to see how this all comes down in terms of the nuances of the issues and the specific amendments and specific bills. But I think I've maintained a significant independence on that whole process.
You have indeed. And notwithstanding your support for Ron Paul, sir, who do you think is going to win your home state?
If I had to bet my house on it, my house isn't that big, but it's big enough. I'd bet on Mitt Romney. I think he'll probably win. Well, you know, I'm willing to support the nominee, but if you had my choice of who the nominee is, I think Ron Paul has more integrity in his little finger than all the rest of us politicians combined do in our whole bodies.
Wow, a fairly condemnatory view of Republican politicians running for the nomination.
Not just Republicans, all politicians.
Indeed. Congressman Tim Johnson of Illinois, thank you for your honesty and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.